appears to be quite some clarity once you're out of that office. While you're there's certain challenges that you can point at. So how will the National Treasury or the Kenya Kwanza administration convince, or should I say Kenya Kwanza plus a few members of ODM, convince the House of eco levy and the 47 clauses that Mbadi is talking about, that they are good for the country?
Sam, is it a few members of ODM or the entire ODM fraternity? And anyway,
I don't know, you tell me. You come from Kenya Kwanza.
You know, I must admit that at least Mbui is consistent. He was vehemently fighting the finance bill on the floor of Parliament, and it seems he still holds that view. My perspective is that we miss the point when we keep pushing down the Kenyan taxpayer. If you look at the current population statistics and the number of people who are qualified to pay for tax and the number of people who actually pay for tax, I believe that what we should be focusing on is streamlining, widening the tax base, and also streamlining collection. And quote unquote, it is, of course, very, it is as white as snow that the economy is not doing well, that there's no money in circulation. And I know that when we got into government, we promised to lower the cost of living. But then the issue has always been affordability. And the people afford the current prices of basic food items. And even if at some point we are pushed by, of course, the debt that we must service, and looking at issues of our tax versus GDP collection rate, we will go in the wrong direction if we keep pushing the Kenyan taxpayer, who is currently already overburdened. When we got into government, we introduced the housing levy. We have SCHAF. We reviewed the rates of the health insurance scheme. Yes, and the pension scheme. So from where I sit, I think that the current taxpayer, the people who are paying tax to sustain this government, they are a bit stretched out thin. And what we should be looking at is not pushing down to stretch them a little bit further, because they really can't expand. That is why we had the issues with the finance bill. I mean, the seams just could not hold any longer. We have high rocketing unemployment levels. We must see how to deal with these issues, because every successive government from the Kenya Kwanza administration must address the integral concerns of the common mwananchi without pushing them down any further. So
what is that finding ways of dealing with this? What exactly are you referring to?
First, Sam, I must say, you know, we have devolution. We have devolution thanks to the 2010 Constitution. As I speak, we fail to have a needs-based analysis of matching what is needed or required in the job market and what we are offering in our education system. If you look at Kirinyaga County, for example, we are able to collect data. We have this number of students who've exited from our high schools. We have these who are transitioning to maybe TVETs and institutions of higher learning. This is what we can do as a county to ensure that we invest in manufacturing. We cannot, the challenges of the 21st century, even in the most developed nations like the UK, they're struggling with a robust youth that is not getting any form of employment, and it's frustrated. At the end of the day, that will be the downfall for any government. Because those are concerns that we have to think of how we can, at the local level, start collating data, do a need-based match, and then ensure that even when we are taking these students to institutions of higher learning, I mean, you have maybe 50,000 people who've studied, let's say, a degree in education, but what the market requires is 20,000. So what do you do with the 30,000? So we have a waste of resources and a waste of brilliant minds that could perhaps even be the future of this.
So let's get back now